everybody. This is Brian.
Jason.
And this is the Perfectly Screwed podcast.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I don't plan on fucking up this
Well, I don't think
this
you ever
episode.
plan on it.
I don't know, last episode...
That's why the drinking game is the drinking game, bud. I mean, you
The
don't...
last episode I kind of knew I was going to eventually.
Yeah.
I had some extremely hard things to say. It's funny, though, because I didn't fuck up any of the hard things I was going to say.
No.
I fucked up the easy words, like simulation.
And talk.
And talked. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. So, but for all of you who don't know, the drinking game is where if I fuck up a word, if I stumble over myself, which has been known to happen occasionally, please take a shot. I drink a beer or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm drinking a beer myself right now.
Busch
Light Peach. Delicious. Flavorful. Springtimey. Lovely.
It is. It's in season.
It's good, too. I like Busch Light Peach. It's not so much of a beer taste to the Busch Light Peach. It's more of a very light peach taste and kind of sweet. It's just delicious.
Just phenomenal.
It is. It's amazing. And Busch would like to give us any money for that.
That'd be great.
We would really, really appreciate it. So today we're going to talk about a guy who, and for all of you who love true crime, we're getting back into some true crime. I don't know how many episodes we'll do on this guy. I guess it depends on how long it takes. He has a long history of nonsense. But he has a lot of different names. He was known as the Visalia Ransacker. He was known as the East Area Rapist. He was known as the Diamond Knot Killer, the Original Night Stalker, and for most people, they know him by his most notorious name, which is Golden State Killer. Now, do you know anything about Golden State Killer?
I like the Creek Bed Killer. Says here he was also known.
Oh, is he the Creek
Bed
Killer
Killer?
too?
Yeah. No, I've never heard of him.
Yeah, Joseph James D'Angelo, and he had a long history. Actually, he's one of the serial killers who got away with it for a really long time. His killings and his crimes started, from what they know, in 1973 when he started burglaries. But he started his rapes and murders, from what they can tell, in 1976. And he didn't get caught till 2018, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was one of the first ones to be caught with familial DNA. They basically had no idea who this guy was. I mean, they knew his list of crimes, but they had DNA from the East Area Rapist case. But they, in the 70s and 80s, even up until the 90s, DNA was not what it is today.
Sure.
So basically, in the early 2000s, like 2016, 2017, they started basically doing like familial DNA. Because up until then, they could do DNA if they knew who the guy was. Like if they knew who you were, they would take the DNA they had and match your DNA to that. But if you weren't in the system in any way, shape, or form, then they couldn't match you. There was no way to match that. It's not just like, there's a database of everybody's DNA from the whole world in a database.
Right.
No, it's only if you're caught. And for a long time, they weren't even DNA and getting DNA from felons. Like, I'm a felon, and my DNA is not on file. Usually, unless you were a sexual predator of some type, they didn't do your DNA. So, unless you committed a sex crime, they never had your DNA in the database. Well, now they do all felon DNAs. But used to, if your felony was like, say, theft or burglary or, battery or something like that, they didn't, or drunk driving charge, they didn't really take your DNA because they figured there's no point in it,
Yeah.
So what they did with him, though, was familial DNA. They went and basically searched like 23andMe and
Ancestry.
Ancestry.com, and they went out and they looked in those databases to see if there happened to be a family match. And that only started happening around 2015, where they could take familial DNA and match this DNA to that. And that's how they caught this guy. They found a family member of his off 23andMe, and then, traced down that family member, and they said, hey, we're going to expand the family tree until we find who it is. And then,
side note, that's what all this 23andMe and Ancestry.com, that's what really is going on. Folks, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to get you to willingly put your DNA on file. Yeah. If you think otherwise, you'd be wrong. I mean, I guess it is cool to find out your ancestry and everything, but that's not really the game that's being played.
No. But really...
But don't rape and fucking murder people and you should be fine.
Right. I mean, that's what I was about to say. It doesn't really matter if they have your DNA, because... unless you plan on raping and murdering individuals.
Right.
I mean, unless you commit a crime, there's no reason the police shouldn't have your DNA anyways. Mm-hmm. I mean, what are you going to do with it other than, as long as you don't do anything that would cause you to get any red flags. So this guy's name, actual name, is Joseph James DeAngelo. And he was old as shit when they finally got him. I think he was 72.
God, yeah, dude, this mugshot, he just looks like a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, and
he really does.
He committed 13 murders, 51 rapes, and 120 burglaries between what they know of 1974 and 86. Now, 86, supposedly he stopped. Okay? Now, as we know.
He retired.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, he was getting kind of old by 86. Okay, so maybe he did stop because he was getting old and it was a lot harder for him to...
He was 40.
Yeah, he was in his 40s. But as we know, serial killers and rapists don't normally stop. Especially if they've gotten away with it from 73 all the way to 86.
Yeah.
So
they might take a break.
Right.
Yeah.
So what they think is they just never had any hits from him after 86. Yeah. But that he was still participating. So let's get into this guy. Let's see here. So let's start from 74 to 76 when he was the Visalia ransacker. They started in May of 1973, and there is other ones that he was linked to, but they can't say that it was him, which is the Cordova cat burglar and the Exeter ransacker. But they know in Visalia, the burglar, God damn it, take a shot.
Yeah, I don't...
Take a shot.
Yeah.
I fucked up.
It was close, but...
Burglaries.
Go ahead and bottoms up that one.
Burglaries.
It is a tough word.
I can't believe I fucked up burglaries. They know that the burglaries that took place after there was a shooting of a guy named Detective William McGowan, which he shot. But over the period of 20 months, these burglaries took place in Visalia, and DeAngelo was linked to them. There was also one murder that took place, which was the shooting of Detective William McGowan.
It says here that this guy was a cop, too.
Yes, he was. He was a cop. He worked for the Auburn Police Department for a short time in 1979. But in March of 1974 is when they first could get him. They know for a fact he was involved in this one. And he stole the sum of $50 in coins from a piggy bank in a house he broke into.
Nice. Score.
$50 from the piggy bank. He's in there stealing little kids' lunch money,
it's
man.
It's not a bad chunk of change in '74. Yeah, he stole a fucking little kid's life savings. He should have been fucking hung for that. You're stealing change out of... I don't care, goddamn. You're stealing change out of an actual piggy bank. Get fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you are a one heartless, evil motherfucker, dude.
Well, it's funny because
He's fucking real, dude.
most of his activities at this time was breaking into houses.
You want to snatch a purse, you know, or steal somebody's fucking wallet off their dashboard, that's one thing. But you're breaking into a house and getting a goddamn kid's piggy bank? Now that's fucking cold.
Well, that's the weird thing. He would break into houses. He would go through and vandalize the owner's possessions. He would also be known to scatter the women's underclothes, possibly touching himself with them. Now look, then he would only steal low-value items. He would ignore higher-valued items that were in plain sight and big banknotes, stealing change and very small-value items.
What?
And playing with the women's underwear. That's what he'd do.
That's strange.
Yeah. Then he would arrange or display items in the house in weird ways. He would empty mostly piggy banks and coin jars. He would also steal what was called blue chip stamps at the time, which were used to return for gasoline and stuff at, like, they had these stamps, which were called blue chip stamps. They call them red stamps too. And in the 70s, you could get them from getting gas and shit, and then you could redeem them for more gasoline or like items like that at the gas station or the grocery store.
Yeah.
But they weren't worth nothing. It's like he's like leaving $100 bills that he finds just sitting out in the open, not stealing any watches or jewelry.
So this dude committed 120 burglaries and got like fucking $300.
Yeah! He's stealing coin jars and piggy banks.
And fucking stamps. What the fuck?
And then masturbating with women's clothing.
Yeah.
And then going through the house and arranging items in weird ways just to fuck with people. It's like, what kind of weird fuck are you?
Yeah, man. I mean, seriously, I'd like to ask. I mean, that'd be an interesting question to ask the guy.
He would also steal historic coins or foreign coins. And then he would steal personal items, such as a single earring, leaving the other earring, one cufflink, leaving the other cufflink, a ring, or a medallion. But then he would also steal weapons with various types of ammunition. He would also do multiple of these ransackings in one day. He also did 12 separate incidents on November 30th, 1974.
Maybe he just didn't want to blow his cover. I don't want to get too rich.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? I just want to get enough today so I can fucking go to the store and buy a few things to eat and some toiletries, but I don't want to get myself on the radar by having too much money. We empty out this piggy bank. Like an idiot.
So they know all these burglaries were connected too because they all had some common characteristics of things he would do.
Right. Scattering underwear and...
Well, not only that, the way he got in and the way he got out was always the same. He would climb fences. He would always go through the same routes as parks or walkways or ditches or trails. He would pry open multiple entry points of the windows. Like, he wouldn't just break in and open one window. He would go around and open a lot of windows, break doors. And that would leave him multiple escape routes.
Right.
He would remove the window screens and always place them on the beds in a neat position for some reason.
Well, that's nice of him. Anyway.
He would also place dishes or bottles against a door or a door handle as warning items if someone was coming in.
Yeah.
And he also always wore gloves, and they never found any fingerprints.
Okay.
So, on September 11th, 1975, he broke into the home of Claudia Snelling, 45. She was a journalist. He had previously broke into this house and been chased from the house because they found him under his 16-year-old daughter's bedroom window. But on September 11th, oh, it's Claude Snelling. I'm sorry, it's a guy. On September 11th, Claude was awakened at 2 a.m. by a strange noise. Upon leaving the bedroom, he ran through the open back door and he saw a ski masked intruder in his carport attempting to kidnap his 16-year-old daughter. He then shot Claude twice, and Claude staggered back in the house to his wife, and he later died. After the shooting, the assailant punched and kicked the daughter and left her on the ground and fled the scene quickly. He stole a bike from the house. Right. Got away on a bicycle.
Oh, yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh. So, after the murder, the 16-year-old went under hypnosis to, because that's a police technique back then. They like to hypnotize people to get more information.
Either hypnosis or psychics.
Yeah, psychics or hypnosis, sure. The police posted a $4,000 reward. And nighttime stakeouts were set up near the house that he had previously prowled, but the ransackings continued. So you're going to the houses he's already broke into.
Yeah.
Because God knows he's going to go back. That's what he does.
Well, we secured what he's already done, but he's still doing it elsewhere.
Jesus Christ. Here we go again. The police doing top-notch work here.
Absolutely.
In the 70s.
On top of
it. Hypnosis, psychics, and we're going to go back to the crime scenes he's already ransacked. That way, if he comes back to do it again, we'll be there.
Common sense would have told you it would take him a little bit of time to fill up another piggy bank.
So this is the William McGowan thing that happened. So on December 12, 1975, a masked man entered the backyard where the ransacks had been reported previously around the same neighborhood. So a detective, William McGowan, had been staking out another house that he had ransacked. And he happened to be inside the garage of this house. He saw the man, and he tried to detain him. The man shrieked, removed his mask, and acted like he was going to surrender after McGowan fired a warning shot. He then jumped the fence, and he pulled out a revolver with his left hand and fired once near McGowan's face, shattering McGowan's flashlight. Officers rushed to aid McGowan, and the shooter was able to escape. They collected a flashlight, tennis shoe tracks, and dropped loot, mainly blue chip stamps.
Damn it!
And a sock full of coins.
Got him!
You didn't get away with them stamps and coins that day, boy. Jesus, fuck hell. So after this, he moved to Sacramento, D'Angelo did. And in 1976, this is where his crimes went from burglary to rape. The crimes initially centered on the unarmed... Take a shot. Yeah. Just take a fucking shot.
Just do it.
Just take a shot because I fucked up. The crimes centered on the unincorporated areas of Carmichael, Citrus Heights, and Rancho Cordova, east of Sacramento. He would initially stalk middle-class neighborhoods at night in search of women who are alone in one-story homes, which, of course, if you're going to rape and break into a house, you're not going to choose a two-story house.
Right.
Right, that requires ladders. Climbing and such.
It's hard to fucking climb with socks full of change.
He would also, interestingly enough, usually get houses near a school or a creek or a trail or open spaces that would provide a quick escape. He was seen a number of times, and they had sketches of him galore. But he always successfully fled. He also shot and seriously wounded a young pursuer once. Most victims said they'd seen or heard a prowler on their property before attacks, and many had experienced break-ins previously. The police believe that the offender would conduct extensive reconnaissance in a targeted neighborhood, looking into windows and prowling the yards before selecting a home to attack. It was believed that he sometimes entered the homes of future victims beforehand, broke into them beforehand, to unlock windows, unload their guns, and plant things that he could later use, like ligatures. He also would frequently telephone future victims, sometimes for months in advance, to learn their daily routines.
Wow.
So he would call them.
So this dude was prepared.
Yeah, call them and then hang up. Prank call them repeatedly, waiting, and then he would be like, oh, well, they're home at this time.
Yeah.
Click. Oh, they're home at this time. Click. And then he'd call them, oh, they're not home now. So
he was smart in the regards of, not being caught.
Right. And originally, he only targeted women alone in their homes or alone with children. But then he eventually preferred attacking couples. He changed because there was media reports claiming he only attacked women alone in his homes, which, again, great police work, guys. You're going to put it out
right.
that, hey, we got this guy that's attacking women alone in their homes, and you're telling the whole public, which, of course, the serial killer or the serial rapist
he's
is not watching
attention.
TV.
No, come on.
No, he's not monitoring the crimes or anything.
He'll never know.
No, of course not. So they put it out there, hey, we got this guy, but he only rapes women when they're alone or with children, so stay in groups, with your husband.
Yeah.
Well, of course, he's going to change his whole thing and say, his modus operandi, and he's going to be like, hey, no, now I'm going to attack couples, motherfucker. You think you're slick?
Right.
Here we go.
Right. Thanks for the info.
Yeah, thanks for telling me you're looking for me, guy. His usual method was to break in through a window or sliding glass door and awaking the sleeping occupants with a flashlight, threatening them with a handgun. Then they were bound with ligatures, most of the time shoelaces, and that he had found in the home or brought with him. Then he blindfolded and gagged them with towels that he had ripped into strips. The female victim was then forced to tie up the male companion before he bound her. The bindings were so tight that they said the victim's hands were numb for hours after being untied. He would then separate the couple, and he would stack dishes on the male's back and threaten to kill everyone in the house if he heard one rattle from the dishes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, which is, kind of smart.
Yeah. He's not dumb.
He would then move the female to the living room, rape her. Often he would rape her more than once, again and again.
Dude, how fucked up is that, man?
Police later reported that during the rapes, and most of the time, he would scream at the women, "I hate you, Bonnie," as he smacked them and raped them. And he would do this on more than one occasion. He would scream, "I hate you, Bonnie, I hate you," as he would fuck them.
Wow.
Later, come to find out, they found out D'Angelo had an ex at this time that he was engaged to named Bonnie.
Yeah.
And she broke up with him
Yeah.
when they were engaged, and he was getting back at her.
Bonnie was fucking his best friend or something. I just think how fucked up it would be, like, if you're, like, the man, and you're tied, and you have dishes on your back, and you're told, dude, one of them dishes fucking make a sound, I'm going to kill your fucking wife, and you just got to lay there.
Well, he said the whole family, so he said he was going to kill him, the wife, the kids,
you
everybody.
just got to lay there and listen to your wife being raped.
Yeah.
And called Bonnie.
Well, not only this. Listen to this crazy shit. He would spend hours in the home. Hours. He'd rape the women when he first got there. Then he would spend hours chilling at their house. He would ransack their closets and drawers looking for change.
This dude, what is this dude's change?
He would go to the kitchen, making himself food, eat.
Oh my God.
He would drink beer, chill for a little while in the kitchen. Then he'd come back, rape the women again, make additional threats, and then he'd finally leave.
Wow.
Sometimes the victims thought he had left the house, but he was just hiding in the darkness of the house. And as they tried to move, he would jump out and scare them screaming, "Boo."
Oh my God, dude. What? This dude is fucked up.
Boo! Boo! You thought I was going, didn't you, motherfucker? Well, time for another round of raping. Here we go. Round 3, baby. Round 3.
What the fuck, man? Boo!
He would typically steal items, normally personal objects like one earring or one cufflink that had little or no value. But occasionally he would steal cash and firearms. Mostly change.
That's nuts.
Yeah. He would then creep away, leaving the victims uncertain of whether he had left or not. He would escape on foot through a series of backyards and then use a bicycle that he had planted down the road to go home or to one of his cars. And he extensively used parks and schoolyards, creek beds, and other open spaces that kept him off the streets. He operated in Sacramento County from the first attacks, and this was when he was called the East Area Rapist. And this was in 1976 to 1977. Then there was a 3-month gap, and he struck again in San Juan County in September before returning to Sacramento. All of the attacks were in Sacramento except for that one. He attacked 5 times in Stanislaus and Yolo counties before disappearing again for 3 months. And then he moved primarily to Contra Costa County in October, and that lasted until 1979. So his first rape was in June of 76, and that was in Rancho Cordova. And then July 19th of 76 in Carmichael County, he raped a person. And then in August 29th in Rancho Cordova. And then September of 76 in Carmichael County. Then October of 76 in Citrus Heights. Then October 9th of 76 in Rancho Cordova. Then October 18th in Carmichael of 76. Then October 18th again of 76, which was the same day. Like, he went from Rancho Cordova, October 18th, 1976, at 11 o'clock p.m., he raped a woman. And then he drove to Carmichael County, and by 2:30 a.m., I guess he was horny again. So
needed some more change.
Yeah, he raped another person in Carmichael County. And then in November 10th of 76, Citrus Heights. And then December of 76 in Carmichael County. Then January of 77 in Sacramento. Then January again in 77 in Citrus Heights. Then in February in Carmichael. Then February again in Sacramento.
So he's back and forth.
So March, April of 77. Basically, it's all 76, 77, 78. I mean, and let's see, 50 rapes between 1976 and 79. 50 of them. And his last one was in Danville in 1979. So then he upgrades. He starts upgrading in about 77 or 78. He starts killing people. And the first one was the McGorry murders, which was a young Sacramento couple. Brian Keith McGorry was a military policeman, and his 20-year-old wife, Kathleen McGorry, were walking their dog in Rancho Cordova area on the night of February 2nd, 1978. Near where 5 East Area rapist attacks had occurred. First of all, why would you be out knowing there had been 5 fucking rapes in this area? Why would you be out late at night walking your goddamn dog, man? Right. I mean, what? You just think, oh, well, I'm military police, so I can take this motherfucker. Yeah. Come on now.
Boo.
Yeah. They fled after a confrontation on the street, but were chased down and both shot to death. They found shoelaces nearby. And later on, he pled guilty to these murders, so they know it was him. So he was trying to get them, but they were on the sidewalk, and I guess they started to run, and he just fucking mowed them down right there on the street, shot them both.
Wow.
So this is when they dubbed him the original Night Stalker, and that was from 1979 to 1986. It was shortly after the 50th rape in July 5th, 1979, and he moved to Southern California. And this is when he began killing his victims, not just raping them. The first one was in Santa Barbara County in October. The attacks lasted until 1981, and there was only one attack in 1986. Only the couple in the first attack survived. They alerted neighbors and forced the intruder to flee. The other attacks were murdered by gunshots or bludgeoning. See, they originally named him the Night Stalker, but then they changed his name to the original Night Stalker when Richard Ramirez became the Night Stalker later on. But his first one was Queen Anne Lane, and this was in Santa Barbara County, and he didn't murder them. This was October 1st, 1979, but he attempted to murder them, but they survived. He broke in and tied up the couple. And then they said it was weird because he kept talking to himself. He kept saying things like, I'm just going to rape them. And then he would say, no, you got to kill them. And he would say, no, I'm just going to rape them. And then he said, I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill them all.
Damn.
And he was talking to himself. They tried to escape when he left the room, and the woman screamed, realizing that the alarm had been raised. He fled on a bicycle. A neighbor, which happened to be an FBI agent, responded to the noise and pursued the perpetrator, who abandoned the bicycle and his knife and escaped on foot through local backyards. Twine from shoes were used to bind the victims. So, On December 30th, 44-year-old Robert Offerman and 35-year-old Deborah Manning were found shot to death at Offerman's condominium on Avenida Pequena in Goleta, California. Offerman's bindings were untied, indicating that he had lunged at the attacker. But neighbors heard gunshots. Paw prints of a large dog were found at the scene, leading to speculate that the killer may have brought a dog with him. The killer had also broken into a vacant adjoining residence and stolen a bicycle, later found abandoned on a street north of the scene from a residence in the complex. So that was actually his first actual murder other than the people he gunned down on the street. But this was his first rape and murder.
Right.
Was on December 30th of 79. Okay, well, I'm going to cut it here. And we're going to get back to it on the next episode and talk more about this fucking wackadoo.
Yeah, this dude's weird, man.
Yeah, he's crazy as shit. I knew it was going to be more than one episode. But this is our beginning episode on the Golden State Killer, and we will see you next time.
Later.